Hey, Matt, I think I want to start today with a joke.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. What do you call a deer with no eyes?
I I don't know. No, I
Still
have
a
no
deer.
idea.
A deer. The presence of eyes doesn't change its species.
Oh,
You're listening to the Realty Brothers podcast with Matthew Atwood.
And Michael Atwood. There is so much changing in the marketplace on a daily basis, and real estate is clearly something that affects everyone.
So whether you're a seasoned industry expert or simply curious on the topic of housing, this is your one-stop shop for tips, tricks, insider knowledge, and encouragement for the entrepreneur in all of us.
So, happy day. What, May 24th?
Yeah.
Hey, listeners, we normally do the intro before. We're like, hey, it's Monday, May 24th. And I was so excited about my anti-joke that I got back on that bandwagon. Like, the best thing is the jokes that just the punchline is nothing.
it's nothing.
It's like you expect a punchline and then it's like, no, it's just duh.
I think that's why we like shows like Park and Rec and things like that, because they set it up and then it's just like, this is just real life.
Yeah. Honest to Jeebus. So, hey, I just got back from Indy.
Yes. Do you not love that town?
Okay, so I have a long story to tell, but
All right.
it was nice. I've never been there before. Their airport is incredible. I was really amazed because I always hear like, oh, Minneapolis wins so many awards. It's like one of the best airports, and it's a fine airport. But Indy was really nice.
Yeah.
All right, the dog is begging for attention. So anybody watching this, not on a podcast, but actually watching the video, gets to see Theo today because he's
good
needy,
morning, Theo.
and because he's missed me.
Yeah.
So anyway, but like I just wanted the sun to come out the whole time I was there. I didn't know if that's like a normal thing. It's like Seattle where it's just cloudy and overcast and depressing all the time, or if it was just my luck, you know? It's like everything here is like, it's nice, but it's also just gray and sad.
Did you go walking around at night?
No.
Oh, they like so much of downtown is like lit up and
yeah.
Is it? I don't know if it's the Capitol building or if it's the courthouse.
The
I don't know.
circle
But like
thing. Oh,
straight down the lane. I was looking up some pictures when you told me you were there. I was like, oh yeah, and I looked at this. You know, you can search by location on for photos on your iPhone.
yeah.
You just type in Indianapolis and all your photos from Indianapolis show up. And so I was like, oh, cool. Look at this. Anyway.
So fun. Okay. So let me tell you about the saga of me getting to Indianapolis.
Of course there's
Also, every time I've talked to someone, because I work with some people from Indianapolis, they always say Minneapolis when they're talking about me.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, it's not Minneapolis, it's Minneapolis. Why are you
Right.
adding an extra syllable? And for some reason, it never clicked for me that like, that's because theirs does have, if theirs isn't Indianapolis, it's Indianapolis.
Right.
So Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
I can have more grace for that, I guess.
No.
Anyway, so my flight left at like 8:30. It was like relatively late, but I was like, that's not that bad. And landing at 11.
Okay.
So like, whatever. I'm usually like getting ready for bed at 8:30 and asleep by like 9:15, but
with you.
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. So go to the airport. Everything's relatively fine, except it's like one of the extra small planes when I finally get on. And the gentleman next to me decided that half of my seat belongs to him too.
Yeah.
So that's always my favorite thing. And like, wasn't apologetic about it, anything. There was no like TV screens, but I brought a book to read and I would sit there with my book and he would just stretch his arm between my face and my book. Like all of a sudden there's just an arm that shoots like right through and I was like, he wouldn't like apologize or like be like, excuse me or anything. And it happened like 4 or 5 times. Or when the stewardess would go by and he would want to hand her like his garbage, he would just like all of a sudden the hand would just shoot. And I'm like, a normal person goes like up and around. Like
Right.
they hold it up in the air and then maybe the flight attendant will grab it from you or something. Whatever, not a big deal. There was also this gentleman right in front of me who was talking so loudly on the phone for pretty much the whole like taxi portion. And then once we landed, waiting to get off. And
Wow.
I had no idea what he was saying, but he was like, man, like he was talking loudly about nothing. And so he's like, that's just goofy, man. And I'm like, what is this guy? What is he up to? And he's
At
like,
least
I
make it
didn't get
interesting
where
for the
I
rest of
am.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, if I have to listen to it, he was like, I didn't make it this far in my life by being goofy. And I was like, what is he talking about?
Get his name.
Anyway,
That's our quote of the week.
didn't get this far by being goofy.
That's awesome.
So anyway, I finally get off the plane. It's 11 o'clock. The airport in India was like pretty desolate, actually. There was almost no one there. And I was like, this is weird, but it was a weekday. Go downstairs to the rental agency thing. There's like no one there except for one person ahead of me. I can't even say I was in line. I was only, I was standing and there was one more person there. And it happened to be Mr. Goofy. And he's there like arguing. Sorry, my dogs are going crazy. He's there arguing with the clerk or whatever at the Hertz Rent-A-Car because he doesn't have a reservation, which is like not her fault.
Yes, it is.
And he could have picked any table, but he had to pick the one I was going to.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like yelling at her, being something special. And I'm just standing back like, I really just want to get my reservation and go. I'm so tired. But like me talking or saying like, it's not going to help. I'm like, excuse me, I have a reservation. Can I get in front of you? Anyway.
Wow.
So I'm standing there for, I kid you not, 45 minutes. And there's no line. I'm just watching them argue. And I'm like, I wish I could do literally anything but this. And then finally it's my turn. I get my car. It goes super quick. Like she was like, would you care what you get? And I was like, not at all. She's like, here's your keys. And I was on my way. It was less than 3 minutes, I swear.
Wow.
Get in the car. It's a short, like 15-minute drive to the hotel. I get to the hotel and it's like downtown Indy. So they lock you out and you got to like stand outside and like knock or push the button and wait until they let you in. And I'm like, when are they going to let me in? I was outside for another 15 minutes. And then I finally get inside and the lady's like, how are you today? Da, 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 da. And she's checking me and taking my last name. And she goes, oh no. And I was like, what do you mean, oh no? And she's like, well, hold on. Clickety clack, clacking away. These dogs are going nuts. So do you hear Ellie too?
I do, yeah.
Okay. There's someone outside cleaning the decks. So I think she's losing her mind at that. Anyway, so the lady's like, oh no, clickety clack. Finally, she's like, well, I don't have a clean room for you. I was like,
oh my gosh.
What do you mean? She's like, we don't have any clean rooms to put you in.
Were you staying at a hostel or something?
No. And I was like, it's not even like I'm like too early for check-in. It is now 11:59.
Yeah.
And, I'm basically checking in for tomorrow.
Right.
At this point, you knew I was coming. So anyway, I was like, I'm not angry or like, I'm just so tired. I don't have the energy to expend. So she was like, well, here's the deal. We're going to put you up at the Holiday Inn Express, just kitty corner from us for a night on us. And I was like, okay, whatever. I don't care. Right. But I still have to like pack my bags tomorrow, check out of that hotel, come back to my hotel. You're just making my life more difficult. Right. Whatever. Not a big deal. And I'm like, okay, where is this? She's like, just go out into the parking lot and go kitty corner to the Holiday Inn Express. So then I do that. I'm walking across these big old parking lots. I have to go stand outside and ring the doorbell again to get inside. They finally get let inside. And the guy's like, staring at me like he doesn't know who I am. And I'm like, I was in the lobby with the last girl, what she called you. I'm the guy who she's sending over. I have this certificate, right? I have a voucher that for my room. And he looks at it and he's like, okay. This is for the Holiday Inn Express. It's like, yeah. And he goes, this is the Holiday Inn.
Oh. Oh my God.
And I like, it was almost out of a, like, right out of a sitcom, me just like staring at him, saying nothing, just slow blinking. What? And he's like, this is the Holiday Inn. And this coupon is for the Holiday Inn Express. I was like, so then I just rolled my eyes. I went, well, that's confusing. And I wheeled my bag out. Like, he didn't even tell me like that's next door or something. Right, so I go outside. I'm like pulling out my Mac, but like, where the heck is the Holiday Inn Express? Finally get to my room. Finally go to sleep. Well, try to go to sleep. But the AC is doing this thing where it's going like, woo, woo, woo. like so
Yeah.
loud, and I couldn't fall asleep, but it was a million degrees in there. So then I turned on like
Oh, man.
ocean noises on my phone because I'm like, that'll help me sleep, right? And then it was still like, no, I can only hear the woo woo woo. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to turn it up all the way and set the speaker right on my ear. And I still could only hear the woo, woo, woo. So then I decided I'd rather just be hot and shut the AC off. But then I could hear the neighbor unit's AC going woo, woo, woo. And I was like, this has been a travel day from hell. I don't know what I did to deserve this.
Oh, man.
But anyway, after that, man, the trip sure turned around. It was so much fun. Just a nice couple of days, and I got to see the sights, and it couldn't have gotten worse, right?
So. I mean, well, so where was the Holiday Inn Express just like right next door to the Holiday Inn?
I had to like go through some weird back alley. Like I'm downtown Indianapolis. Yeah. It's sketchy. I'm dragging my luggage behind me. But it was close-ish.
Huh.
It wasn't like I was like walking 2 miles or something, but
still,
there was like all of these hotels all in one area, you know?
Right. How many people show up at the Holiday Inn and like, no,
what a silly thing. Also, just be like, oh, I'm so sorry. That building is actually, if you go outside and take a left and then, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they'll just stare at me. I'll slow blink right back. Also, for the listeners, there's nothing more powerful than a slow blink.
Mm-hmm.
Just, man, use that sometime.
Just says like, explain yourself.
Yeah.
Do you realize yourself yet?
Do you realize what's happening?
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
And also frustrating. But I feel like these things always happen to you.
I always have good stories, don't I?
Man. I mean, they're good stories, but they're not good fun.
They're not good experiences.
Like, oh yeah, I decided to go up and sightsee around the North Shore, and some lady fell 50 feet and cracked her head open. Oh, I went on like just like everywhere you go, something's got to go happen.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's
Question:
the truth.
Are you on the same flight as me to Utah?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh no, because something bad's gonna happen.
Great.
Should. Okay, so what's happening in your life? This last. Okay, hold on.
Okay,
hold on.
Back to you. Oh, you're yelling at the dogs. Cool. Got it. I also love that when Ellie started barking, immediately Theo was like, what? Do I need to? Okay.
That's his existence. He has no idea why we're upset, but he's like, yeah. This is, and that's supposed to be a thing in like humans too, right? Like riot mentality,
right?
Or something.
Right, yeah.
Like he has that so bad.
Yeah.
What if I open the door and Ellie barks, he runs out barking and he has no idea why, but something must have warranted it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. That's awesome.
Okay. So tell me about your week.
Yeah. So, really, really fun week, fun and exciting. And, we've got some big news to share here in a couple weeks, I guess, or a week and a half, about a new addition to our amazing team.
I'm so excited.
Excited. Really just the probably the biggest investment we've ever made in growing our people and making sure that internally, they're successful, and, I'm just so excited. So we'll share a little bit more about that here shortly, but it's been like consuming my brain. Like this is going to be so much fun. And then of course we were supposed to, we're looking at our Rochester office opening here real soon. And that's coming together nice and quick. Our Mankato office is coming together nice and quick. Looks beautiful in there, how we've remodeled a section to expand our financial suite, as we call it. That's looking cool. And then because we don't stop there, our Isle office got pushed back a month.
Yeah, it did.
Bummer. So that was like,
there's just a lot of things happening at the same time.
Then,
but also so exciting.
I know.
I just love to see forward momentum. I love to see, I don't know. I don't know the best way to put this, because there's a lot of people who are satisfied with status quo, and I appreciate that we are not.
Yeah. Absolutely. So it's exciting. I'm super excited. And when that is done in Isle, I mean, that'll be the talk of the town for a long time. You know what I mean?
The rest of time.
For the rest of time. Yeah. It's a, you can't miss it. What's funny to me though, is I still ask the seller, hey, can we get our contractor in there just to take a couple quick looks, right?
Yeah.
People who are doing our Mankato office, Wilcon, right? I was like, man, we're having trouble finding people that are available up there. I mean, everybody's doing something in their homes, and I mean, it's just crazy, right? Yes. Everybody has a story. I was like, would it be unreasonable for you guys to go up there? I mean, you work quick. We love working with you. We have a great relationship. And he's like, well, I'll check with some of the guys. And then he goes, okay, so Ryan is actually going to be up there next Thursday anyway. He's going fishing, so he can go through, he can take a look at it. And when I asked if he'd like to, do some work up there, he was like, absolutely. Because he'll just go fishing in the evenings when he's done working on the office. So
that's amazing.
That works out perfectly. I'm more of like a
those
pontoon,
guys take
speedboat, sailing kind of guy. I don't fish much, but
I don't want to touch the fish.
Is it the slippery, slimy, or is it the fact that they'll just randomly jump and scare the bejeebas out of you?
They jump. I'm always like, look, fish, be cool.
Calm down.
Be cool. I'm going to just touch you really gentle. Every time.
Yeah, that's funny.
Anyway.
So anyway, yeah, a lot going on this week, a lot to keep track of and do. But hey, I mean, every single day now we're posting about the progress in the Rochester office.
In Rochester.
So
it's also just fun for me to see.
Yeah, right.
Well, and you too. Like, it's one thing for like Mankato, for example, when you get to see it every day and like watch the progress. But then like when it's a location we don't get to every day, some of this is for us. I'm sure the public enjoys seeing it, but I want to see it and memorialize it on the interwebs.
Yeah, absolutely. And our marketing team is doing such a cool job with it too, on how they're releasing it every day. But if you want to check out the progress, you can go to facebook.com/C21 Atwood Rochester. So C21 Atwood Rochester is the handle.
Nice.
Yeah, sure.
Why not? Facebook handle, maybe.
Username.
Cool. What are you shipping this week?
Yeah, well, a number of things. Like quite a lot, actually, because as I was showing you during our musical break, my Ember mug's all lighting up and telling me my coffee's way too hot to drink right now.
Too hot.
Too hot. Don't drink this. It is lava. But I've already done Ember. And there's some cool new Apple things, but I've already done Apple. And my lawnmower, and I've already done John Deere. So I was like, I don't know what my not sponsored by is going to be this week.
This year.
And then as I'm setting up the thing, I was like, oh, I need to see, this is my desk over here. Well, you can't see it, but I'm at my desk, and back there, that's my wife's desk, right? So those of you who are watching on YouTube or Facebook, this is back here. This is my wife's desk. So we share an office together. And I was like, oh, I got to clean it. She's got a bunch of stuff out. And then I was like, oh, you know what? That's going to be my not sponsored. Let me go grab it real quick. 1 second.
Oh God. Suspense is killing me.
Also, yes, I'm wearing sweatpants with my with my polo. I only have to look professional from the waist.
Professional on top. I'm wearing gym shorts on bottom.
Nice.
Oh heavens.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. For those of you who are only listening,
it's a podcast. People can't see this, man.
Sorry. I forget. Sometimes I think everybody watches our videos.
Describe in vivid detail.
Well, she contacted a company, Atlantis Pools, about putting in a swimming pool here at our house. And the guy was awesome. He was describing to us different ways that we can save money, which is good. And some of the things that we, really should do because it'll save on maintenance and things later, and kind of going through everything. And here in my head, I'm like, I'm not spending $100,000 on a pool. I'm not. I'm like morally opposed to spending that amount of money on anything. Unless I can live in it. And then the bid came back actually pretty, reasonable. And I was like, What? No way. I mean, what?
I don't believe it.
What? I
Mm-mm.
mean, okay, okay, all right. So he's like, by the way, I work with. So this company's out of the cities. He's like,
Okay.
we're doing a lot in Mankato lately, and
Really?
like a lot. Like he was pointing around, like, okay, over here, your neighbor there, and then across the street there, and then this, and then I've got 3 going in Upper North Mankato right now, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, holy smokes, I don't know.
Wow.
Like, he's like, oh yeah, like normally we do on a good year 50 swimming pools a year.
Mhm.
Last year we did 83. This year we've already got more than 70 on the books.
Yeah.
I mean, people are putting in pools
It's-
like crazy.
Again, the COVID impact. People are like, if the world tells me I can't leave my home anymore,
Right?
then I need to make sure my home is great.
Beyond that though, like I was like, okay, at some point it's gonna fall again. But I think what this instilled in so many people's minds is not just like well, I'm quarantined, because things are opening back up. I walked into a store yesterday and I'm pulling my mask out of my back pocket as I'm walking in, and nobody's wearing their mask anymore. I was like, this is weird. Like,
Mhm.
okay.
Just like that.
Well, I'm still gonna do it. But anyway,
Yeah.
so you know, I think the lasting impact for people is not just while I'm stuck in my home, I might as well find something fun, but I've been stuck in my home and I think I can enjoy my home more than I am,
Mhm.
you know, and I can make my home the fun place to be. And
That's actually really encouraging, because I think
yeah,
maybe it's a good change from, like, people used to buy a home and live in a home forever. Like there was no like,
right,
move every time you've outgrown it.
right.
You just make it work and it's your family home, and then maybe even you pass it on to another generation, And as culture has changed into more of a throwaway society, it's like move every 2 years, throw that house away, throw that house away, throw that house away, right? And so maybe this is going to help us not go back, but balance that equilibrium a little bit more. We're like, let's, make it work,
Right.
rather than replace it, let's fix it.
Right.
So that could be good.
Yeah, it definitely could be. And what's interesting too is because of the rising median sales price of homes, it like swimming pools now are actually a low maintenance swimming pool is actually kind of an attraction toward some of those higher sales homes. So for the first time ever, I think in Minnesota, we're actually seeing pools are just helping the house sell, if not sell for more money. And that's never happened in Minnesota versus like Florida, where it's like, you don't have a pool, I'll give you $1.
Why are you even on the market?
Just leave the house. I'll take it over for you. Anyway,
I love that.
So it's very reasonably priced, actually. I was very surprised. And then he's like, oh, by the way, I work with local companies here for electric and gas and concrete. You'll need concrete. And then I bit out the concrete and went, well, there it is. Nope. Okay. So I was like, look at these pictures, Jenny, of beautiful pools where the grass comes right up to the pool. Isn't that great?
What's the opposite of an infinity edge?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. We might need to save for another year just to afford the concrete.
We have so much yard.
We have so much yard, and it really is the perfect
and
yard.
So little pool.
It's a little pool. But my wife is expecting a bonus, and she's like, do you know what I want to do with my bonus check? And I was like, hold on. I think there's a movie like this where somebody's expecting a bonus check, and his plan is to put in a pool with that bonus check. Do you not know the movie I'm talking about?
What this movie is? No.
It's one of the subplots of the movie, but he's dreaming of his pool that he's going to get with his bonus check that comes at Christmas, and then his bonus check comes and it's like nothing, and so he goes and kidnaps his brother-in-law goes and
bosses.
No. Oh. His brother-in-law goes and kidnaps the boss and brings him to the house and like, you explain to me why. Anyway,
what is this?
Christmas Vacation.
Oh,
Chevy Chase.
Really?
Yes.
That's what that movie is?
Have you not seen that movie?
No, I have, but I don't remember that part. I
It's
remember
a subplot.
The vacation. Okay.
anyway, the house that they light the house all up.
Yeah, I remember that.
All right, well, go watch the movie. Anyway, I was like, you know what's going to happen? You're expecting this big bonus check from work, and it's going to be this little thing, and then I'm going to have to go kidnap your boss,
as one does,
and wrap him up in a bow. Anyway, you got to watch the movie again.
Okay, so what is this company?
Oh, sorry,
Pools?
Atlantis Pools, and I was really impressed too that that they didn't just send like some sales guy. And this is what I love, and I think you and I are like this. The owner of the company came down to visit with us. You know what I mean? Like he takes this vested interest. He's like, for me, you know, going out and visiting with people about, you know, where they should put their pool and what it could look like and things like that. He's like, that's like this much of the job. The big job is digging everything out and putting in the steel and all the other stuff that goes into it, right? So he's like, I love this part. And it reminded me of something that somebody said once, where they were talking about what business owners tend to do is go, oh, I need help with this, I need help with that, I need help with this, and then they hate the jobs that they're doing themselves. And because the part of the job that the owner hates, they feel almost guilty making somebody else do that. Like, oh, I just hate accounting. Yes. There's people out there who literally get a degree in this because they love it so much.
They love it. Yeah.
So, you know, for him, he's like, I hired out all of the things I don't love doing, and I get to go do the thing that I love to do. So I was impressed by that. That was really cool. Super nice guy. Had a lot of information, and he knew the names of every single person he's put a pool in Mankato. He's rattling off names left and right. And at one point he's like, does this name ring a bell? And we're like, maybe, I don't know. And he goes, well, their kids go to school with your kids at Loyola, I think. I'm like, how do you even,
he's creepier than I am.
I was like, wow, this is cool. So anyway, he had mentioned to those people who are just finishing the pool, that he was meeting with someone who lived near us, the Atwoods. And so he was like, yeah, I'm meeting with the Atwoods next. They live near you. Do you know them? They're like, oh, we don't, but you know what? Their kids go to the. So anyway, it's just like all in his head. He collects all this information. I thought that was really cool. So Atlantis Pools or this guy who was just really, really a lot of fun. Okay. That took way too long. What's not sponsoring you?
That was a lot.
I'm sorry.
I kept on getting ideas
story.
Of things. I did.
Come on.
I commandeered the first 15 minutes of this episode. Okay. First and foremost, for our viewer on screen, look at this latte. Look at it.
Ooh.
Wow. I am basically a barista. It has foam. It has all the things. No, that's not what's sponsoring me. Okay. Also, you talked about masks and all of a sudden not needing masks. I was the only person at the gym this morning still wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And I was so weird about it. But like, I have both my shots, but you're supposed to wait like 2 weeks or something after to make sure it really settles out. I don't really know until you're officially considered vaccinated. So I was like, well, I'll just keep it on just in case. And the looks I got, I tell you, people were like, what, am I going to cough on you? And I'm like, just I don't know. It's so weird. And it's before this happened, it would be like the looks you would get for not wearing a mask.
I know.
And now it's the looks you get for wearing a mask. And it's, I swear it's the same people who are like, I won't wear a mask are like the ones now who are like, you can't make me take it off. But
it makes no sense. And that's why, like I went to the grocery store. I was like, I'm still going to put mine on, because I was like, well, if somebody looks at me and goes, he's still wearing a mask, maybe he's ill. Right. Or maybe whatever, but versus the looks I got when I wasn't, when I was like walking outside one time and somebody's like, oh, how dare you? And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to wear this thing for the rest of my life because I don't like people not liking me. Anyway.
Okay. What's my not sponsored this week? Shoot. It was right here.
Go.
What did you talk about?
Pools.
You talked about so many things.
Coffee.
No. People. Oh, I got it. Okay. People knowing other people from Mankato. That's what got me spiraling. I went to Stock and Spade last week. Have you heard of this?
Never. No.
It's a new restaurant concept. It's started by the like guy who owns or CEO or whatever. I should really look this up, but I don't care that much. He's like the founder or CEO of Crisp and Green.
Nope.
Okay, well, I guess first of all, Crisp and Green is a franchise.
Okay.
It's just like a salad bar, and it's really delicious and healthy and good and
like
whatever.
Ruby Tuesday.
Sure. Mm-hmm. So, and whenever you go to like the really bougie suburbs, it'll be like, oh, Crisp and Green Edina and Crisp and Green North Loop and Crisp and Green Wayzata and whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, Crisp and Green has expanded outside of Minnesota. It's like a national franchise right now.
Wow.
So anyway, he just started his another franchise called Stock and Spade, and it's completely vegan, but just like happens to be vegan. You know, it's like a burger joint, fast food, chicken sandwiches, chicken nuggets, fries, shakes, whatever. But all of it's actually meat free and dairy free. And he's trying to get that to take off too as a franchise that people can buy into. Wow. So I just went there to their first location. Of course, it's in Wayzata because fancy. But it was so good. I can't even man, you would have hands down the best chicky nug I've ever had in my life.
Really?
Okay.
Nice.
And like the shakes and the burgers and the sauce and all this stuff. And then I don't know. But while I was sitting there, I was just enjoying my vegan food. And I look up and who should be across the restaurant staring right back at me, but Todd Snell.
Really?
And one of his kids. Yeah. I was like, small world. So anyway,
Did you give like a little nod or something, or
I knew who he was. He knew who I was. We didn't need to bring it to actual
just
speech,
this mutual,
you know.
Cool. Back to Chicky Nug.
Back to Chicky Nug.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, so check it out, Stock and Spade. It was so good and good for you and good for the planet and all that other stuff.
You know, Todd's business could definitely be not sponsored for me sometime if it hasn't already.
You go to Snell all the time.
I go to Snell all the time. Snell Motors here in Mankato. They're just fantastic people.
Mm-hmm.
They're really, really great. And they always take care of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, speaking about all of you, everything you talked about triggered an idea of something reciprocal, like parallel in my life. So you know that I'm working on the new place, right?
Yes. Yep.
And just got the final bids, like after all that. So the way that they do it is they hold a contractor's open house, right? And after you've agreed with the builder what your plans are going to be, then they invite all the contractors they know, like all the subs, and say the house is going to be open today. Here's the plans. Come take a look, measure what you need to measure. Your bids are due back to us by Friday.
Wow.
Right. And then so that's like their way of getting at least 3 bids on each trade. Right. So that was really cool. But they finally got all their numbers back. It was very expensive. It was not reasonable like your pool. And so I was like, gosh, I don't know. Like they're like, we just need you to sign off. And I was like, maybe let's like nix this and nix this. Can I get an updated bid? And there's like, yeah, sure. I'll get back to you tomorrow. It comes back the next day. He's like, okay, I took those things off. That brought down the prices of this. I actually got updated numbers from the vendors though. And that increased the prices by this much. And now the bid's higher than it was yesterday. And it's like, oh my God, I lost 2 things off my list and it's more expensive.
Seriously.
But like with like the price of lumber and the price of like everything's, how do you do that? I don't know.
Is there a way you can wait? Because they keep saying lumber prices are going to drop a lot come this fall.
Yeah.
Saying. So
but I don't want to move. So I'd be paying for both places all summer.
Yeah.
And then all for the fall and move in the winter. That would be terrible. Anyway, enough about that.
You know what I'm really excited about with this?
What?
Is that the construction would be outside of my home.
Yes.
That would be so great. And it happens to be my absolute favorite form of exercise.
Swimming is pretty great.
I love it because I don't feel hot.
Yeah.
Like I can feel my heart pounding and I can feel that I'm probably sweating.
Yeah.
You know, but
you're working hard.
I'm nice and cool and I love it so much.
Aww.
So anyway.
I had some fun news to share.
Yeah, do it.
So there's a really interesting article that just came out called "Buyers Go to Crazy Extremes to Win a House," which we know we've been saying for, I think, at least 2 or 3 months now. Like things are just getting more and more competitive, right?
Yeah.
And multiple listings and over asking and all these things are just, it's bonkers, right? And so the majority of this is just like, yep, it's bonkers. It's crazy. There's no other words to describe it. It's a total frenzy. What's causing it? Low housing inventories. We've been over this. Like this isn't revolutionary, but there's some really interesting numbers in here that I wanted to share because of course they did surveys of current sellers or people who are expecting to list their homes in the near future. The recent survey showed that 24%, so basically a quarter of homeowners expect to get more than their asking price when they sell their home. They just expect it. 29%, so almost a third, just plan to ask for more than what they think it's worth in the first place. Furthermore, 16% expect there to be a bidding war and have multiple offers. 25%, so again, a quarter, expect to have an offer within the first week of listing on the market. 16% expect there to be at least one cash offer. 24%, so again, a quarter, don't expect to pay for any kind of repairs or improvements to the property.
Of course.
And 16% expect, this is wild, expect the buyers to waive contingencies such as financing, appraisal, or home inspection.
Oh my gosh. I
really when this was first coming, it was like, oh, maybe we waive the home inspection, risky. And now it's like the sellers just expect it. You want to do an inspection, you do it on your own time and your own dime, but they're not going to entertain it.
I really hope that at some point, like this doesn't ruin it forever. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not going to sustain. It's not going to.
No.
Yeah.
And the scary part, so like we just talked about, I think it was 2 weeks ago, it's not a bubble. There's still like regulatory practices in the mortgage industry to make sure that we don't end up in the same scenario we did, back like circa 2007. But they're still saying that waiving all of these things or paying too much is very likely going to lead to some buyer's remorse later on. Right. You're just setting yourself up to a more difficult situation.
Right.
And obviously any investment, you should have kind of that forethought of like, what does this mean? Not just today, like, do I have a place to move, but what does that mean for my financial future? So basically with all this in mind, financial analysts are still warning, like, stay within your budget, don't overstretch just to win. And in general, spend no more than between a quarter or a third of your monthly gross income on your home.
That formula, right? Like a quarter to a third of your monthly income to spend on your home is a good general formula. Generally. But there's been times when I'm like, you can't always go by that, right? Like, there's, for example, if we go on the low end, somebody who makes $500 a month, right? They can't spend $250, $300 on rent because there won't be enough left to eat. Right. And so, I mean, obviously that's an extreme, right? Yeah. But the cost of milk and bread and whatever doesn't go down percentage wise. On the flip side, right? Somebody who, who makes like $1 million a month. It's like
spend $300,000.
Well, no, what I'm saying is like, if you were to make $1 million a month, okay, like some astronomically ridiculous number, $1 million a month, and you spent $800,000 a month on your residence, okay, between the mortgage, taxes, insurance, everything, $800,000 a month on your residence. You're spending 80% of your income. When experts say no, only 25 to 30%, but they still have $200,000. Right. They can still buy milk and bread and all that because the other expenses don't go up because their income. Right. You know what I'm saying? So certainly. So sometimes we have some higher end rentals, that rent for almost $3,000 a month that we manage, and I have to tell people like, hey. If their income, if they're spending half, I know our general rule is we're looking for a third or a quarter, but if they're spending half, that's okay because they've still got another $3,000 a month to live on. And that's probably going to get okay.
There's obviously the extremes.
Yeah.
And I feel like the people who are in the extremes know that they're the extremes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if you're making that much money, you're like, this isn't normal. You know,
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
The way I like to think of it is this is just a general rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Let's err on the side of look at it like not, hey, this is how much I can afford, but like, hey, this is maybe where I should try to stay below.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously it's different in the higher end home market once you get to that certain threshold, but two, there's probably more sound or diversified, I should say, investments you could be making rather than putting everything you make right into real estate or your primary residence, I should say.
Right. So and I think one thing that's kind of unfortunate on the other end is that people actually will choose more, I don't want to say luxury, but you know what I mean? Luxury to them. They'll choose a nicer place, a nicer apartment, and sacrifice food.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm like, I mean, come on. Like, I totally get it. Did you hear? I just watched this thing and I brought it up in the Mankato sales meeting, and one of the other agents had seen it. But I guess there's this video going around. I saw a part of it because I have kids and they don't let me sit through a whole thing. But this millionaire business entrepreneur was trying to prove that in America, you can make $1 million. So there was this group that said, okay, prove it. They gave him a cell phone, a old pickup truck, like not even like a nice new truck, like an old pickup truck, and $100. That's it. And he slept in the truck. I mean, he was like, I'll make $1 million in 90 days. And they're like, there's no way. It took longer than that. So he was a little too smug, but he started out by like working some random minimum wage job, scrubbing toilets. And then he figured out he could sell the truck and get a cheaper little car, which gave him like $1,000. So then he found like he could buy some parts from a junkyard and then sell them off here. And he just started like doing all this random stuff, trading up and doing these different things. And it was incredible to watch how he did this. That being said, super unfair. You're taking somebody who's already done it, who's already, I mean, and probably didn't start from nothing, but, you know, and has learned from experiences of others that, you know, trained him along the way and things. And now he's getting to start over. But it was really, it was still really incredible to watch. It's almost,
I think there's also like no regard for economic impact or advantage in that, like, here's your truck and $100. By the way, you have sound mental health, you have sound physical health, you don't have mouths to feed that, you know, underneath you, you know what I mean? So it's, I would take that with a little bit of a grain of salt for the people who would watch it and get salty. But I mean, for the motivational aspect, definitely.
Yeah. It was, I'm just saying, it was cool to watch. It's kind of like those things too, like the undercover boss. And they're like, I'm going to pay your college tuition for you. It's like, no, CBS is paying for it. Also, you're a multi-trillion-dollar company and you're going to spend $30,000 on a scholarship. Cool. Anyway.
So the American education system is broken. So thanks for nothing. Just kidding.
Also, you know, when I love Undercover Boss, don't get me wrong. I think it's hilarious, but sometimes watching these people like do this job like that, whatever, it's just not an apples to apples comparison with that stuff. But like, I have 13,000 employees and they end up in some random store in Missouri, and like
Missouri,
this guy or gal or whatever is like, I've had a hard life and now I'm trying to raise my son all on my own. It really moved me. I'm going to buy you a new house, a new car, college tuition, all this stuff. And I'm like, you have 13,000 employees. You think this is the only one and you happen to stumble upon them?
Yes.
So anyway, that's going to lead me to a topic we're going to talk about with our exciting news coming up. Where we talked about growth and internal growth, but I actually gave an interview recently, and I'll share that with you too in another episode. But I said, I think the downfall of a lot of brokers and owners in real estate and in a lot of companies is the lack of focus internally. Right? The lack of calling up employees and calling up sales agents and calling them up and saying, how are you doing? Oh, my numbers are really good, boss. No, I don't care. How are you doing? And what are your goals? Oh, I'm going to do 10% better this year. Is that what you want, or is that what you think I want? My goal is to help you meet your goal, whatever it is. If your goal is to do less business so you can spend more time with your family, I will work on that with you, because me trying to keep my business running is my problem, not yours. Right? So, anyway, I'll get on that topic another time. I did bump across a couple articles too, and I'm not going to share them, but one of them supported you when you said, I found an article that said this is not a bubble. They've now this independent group has interviewed 42 economists, 42 who all say, yeah, it's not a bubble. It's not. It's going to last for years.
That's insane.
Slow, but it won't drop.
Right.
So anyway, I'm going to leave you with some parting stats here, because I think this is fun.
Oh, I thought it was going to be parting motivation.
Well, yeah. And then I'll do motivation, because I got that.
The motivational stats. How about
motivational stats? Yeah. Median sales price in the United States last week I shared Minnesota is now $329.
Wow.
Insane. I mean, you go down to like Mississippi and Alabama.
Mississippi.
Like I mean, even I was just looking at homes in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Real estate's so cheap over there. I'm going to move to Sioux Falls.
Get a mansion on that.
Seriously. 329 median in the United States. How many straight months of year-over-year gains do you think that is, Michael? How many straight months of increase on median sales price? Like not a single month of down. Any guesses?
What is it? May now? 11.
Okay, so you think 12 months ago it was maybe a down, like the median sales price dropped a little bit, but then it continued to climb for 109 straight months.
No way. I was expecting at least some kind of because I was like, oh yeah, if we're looking at like the pandemic kind of started in March, closings might have taken a dip for a minute.
Nope. That is 9 years of continued, and sometimes it was only slight, but it increased year over year for 9 years. Month over month for 109 months. Okay, current inventory. There's only 1.07 million properties for sale nationwide, which is down 28.2% year over year. Down. Like here we're coming out of the pandemic and it's down 28%.
We're still down. Of course we are.
Yeah. Okay. Days on the market is down to 18 days nationwide. That's a 44% drop. 18.
Well, I told you that most buyers expect to have their offers within the first week.
Oh, crazy. Here's something that's kind of crazy too, though. The existing home sales, this does not include like new construction and all that other stuff, but existing home sales, there were 6 million sales. So that's a 12.3% increase. And yet,
when
you remember what?
When? There were 6 million sales in the month of April? Or what are we saying?
This is this April? Yes.
Okay.
And yet, do you remember how much inventory there currently is? 1 million. So we've got 1 million homes on the market, 28.2% down, and 6 million sales, 12.3% up. So that days on the market is going to continue to drop as people go crazy. My wife sent me a home yesterday. I absolutely fell in love with it. I would move there immediately. It's in Burnsville. It's got a swimming pool. It's got
send it to me. Okay.
I love this house. It would need some work because it's not quite my style, but I love the layout of the house. I love the location. I love the pool. I love everything. And I'm like, it doesn't matter though. I can't make a non-contingent anything offer. I don't understand how people are. All right, I've got a really good Simon Sinek for you to end off today. And I love Simon Sinek so much. Too much, maybe.
All right. Lay it on us.
All right. Mm-hmm. Working hard for something we don't care about is called stress. Working hard for something we love is called passion.
Yeah. I love that one.
I love Simon Sinek. And it kind of brings me back to what I was talking about with a lot of owners, right? A lot of business owners, they work hard on those things that they don't love, right? They open up a new restaurant and they're like, yeah, because I love, meeting people and all this. And they're sitting in the back running the books all the time on their restaurant. They're like, I hate this. Then hire somebody else to do that, because what you did is you're working on all the things that cause you stress instead of working on the things that you love and can be passionate about. So
that's a good thing just to refocus for anyone, no matter what you're doing. You know what I mean? You could work at Payless Shoe Source and be like, of my general responsibilities, what are you passionate about? Anybody listening, I encourage you to think about what your passion is. I think I'll probably spend some time doing that today. And how do I find a way to dive more into that?
Right.
Because it's only going to yield increased energy, increased production, increased, I'm going to want to continue and pour more in.
Absolutely. And I want to be clear too. I'm not saying that everyone has the ability to be like, I'm only going to do the things at work that I love. Not everybody can do that. Like you said, you might work at Payless Shoes or whatever it is. Then you got to find some things outside of work that you can be so passionate about that you can now start to view your work as your means to get that passion.
That's true. Because when I was bringing it up, I was thinking like, no matter what it is, even though you can't necessarily in all positions or in all, facets of life, delegate the things that someone else has assigned to you. I hired someone else to do that, boss. But you can put more of your energy and focus into the portions that you're passionate about. You know what I mean? And that can just become your niche, what you become known for within, the Best Buy ecosystem. Like, man, he just crushes it at that. And it as long as it's something that you're passionate about, people around you will notice it and continue to encourage you to do that more, and thus take you off of the things that you don't want to do.
Yes. Absolutely.
Come on.
So thank you, Simon, for our, we're on a first name basis now. Thank
you and him. Yeah.
Thank you, Cy, for that great motivation. And I hope you all bring that into your week and make it just do those things that you're passionate about, either at work or outside of work, and just throw yourself into it and fall in love with the things that you love all over again.
All right. I have a reminder that goes off every day at this time to be kind. So whatever you're doing right now, stop and say something kind to yourself. All right. Have a great day. Make it good. Have a great week. Try to pursue your passion a little bit, or dive into it more, lean into it more than you would have otherwise. I think the dogs have to go out potty, so that's our cue.
That's our cue. Keeping us on time. Thanks, Theo. All right. Thanks everybody.
Theo. All right. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Realty Brothers podcast. If you liked this episode, please help support us by subscribing to the Realty Brothers on your favorite podcasting app. And, of course, your 5-star reviews are always greatly appreciated.
Be sure to also check us out on Facebook and on Instagram as The Realty Bros, and at our website, therealtybros.com.
And we would love for you to join the conversation. Send us a message at the link in the description below, message us on your favorite social media platform, or shoot us an email, contact@therealtybros.com.